Cool gear. And that lets you save cook here.
True Form Life.
Green look on.
Welcome to another edition of Exploring Mind and Body. I'm your host, True Form's Drew Taddia, fitness expert. What's going on today? We're talking about imagination. I'm going to tell you how I found success talking to our younger generation, and I'm going to give you a quick and easy recipe anyone can do at home. All that and so much more coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Taddia, fitness expert on 96.5 CKFM.
This segment brought to you by Complete Truth Protein Powder. Live free, live true with whole natural foods. No additives, preservatives, soy, gluten, and dairy free. Supplement with superfoods to energize your day. Visit CompleteTruthProtein.co for details.
So I was going through my business cards and organizing them. Exciting, I know. I like to keep business cards. I know most people don't. They usually get thrown away about 4.5 seconds after they're given out, which is why I'm not particularly liberal about giving out mine. The funny thing is, it seems like every time I need one, I don't have one. But what can you do? I like to keep them though. For some reason, I can remember exactly every single person that gave me their card. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't have the best memory, especially not when something doesn't mean anything to me. Fact in hand, when someone you just meet shows a business card in your face, I can't stand it. I usually ask for a business card because, again, for some reason, I remember that person or place that gives it to me or that I get it from. I remember if someone was polite, if the place was clean, how someone makes an impression, meaning were they interested in talking to me or wishing I would go away, if they were welcoming, and if they were a person I like to do business with. A lot of these cards I found were when I just started business, which at this point was about 2 years ago. I can tell you the precise feeling I got when I received the card. And to be polite, most were less than welcoming. Some cards I kept, some I threw away. I kept some because I remember the person I dealt with and hoped to deal with them again in some way. I kept some because I'd like to keep their business number on file, and others I kept because I wanted to remember the same feeling of rejection when they wouldn't give me the time of day. Emotions like that are what inspires me. Those that say you won't make it, those that put you down, those that might laugh or chuckle, they might even brush you off. Some ignore these instances. Some push these memories deep down so they don't have to think about them. But for me, these people are the reason I am where I am. They're the reason I keep pushing forward and keep trying new adventures. They're the reason I know I'll make whatever goal I set for myself. I'll keep those cards, and I'll remember what it was like when I first started, when I was knocking on doors looking for business, when I had a hope and a dream and nothing else. Those cards mean something to me. I tossed some in the garbage too. The cards that looked homemade or hardly readable, those that looked like whomever made them didn't care much about their card, so how could they care about their business? I like to read Seth Godin. He sends out an email every morning, if you could imagine, which gets dropped directly into my inbox, in which I wait for. This is usually the first thing I read in the morning. Seth talks about standing out, being original, being someone instead of a sheep in the herd. When it comes to business, life, or simple living, do we think it's okay to be average? That's rhetorical. I know many people do. We're a world of sheep that follows along with the norm, but think about this for a second. Do you really want to be average? Do you want to be a regular somebody, drifting through life, never taking a risk, never feeling that adrenaline rush of jumping out of a plane, taking out a loan you don't know if you can pay back, signing a contract of a big deal, or whatever makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck? Yes, I know, this isn't for everyone. I feel strongly that average isn't good enough anymore. Average is less than average now. In all walks of life, average isn't good enough. There are too many people, too many businesses, too many products, sales, grocery stores. How do you choose? How do you know where you go? How do you stand out and get chosen? Looking for a date? Think average is going to cut it? Trying to make a sale? Sorry, average won't cut it. Word of mouth only goes so far. Why not go out of your way to take a risk? Why not expand your business, even if you don't know what will happen? Why not take a real risk and see what happens? For once, jump in with 2 feet and handle the consequences or reap the benefits. Business cards that don't stand out, that don't have a website, and look like they took 15 minutes to design are going to get thrown in the garbage. That's why they don't work. That's why business cards are a waste. It's because the people that design them expect them to be thrown out. So what's the point of putting in the time and effort anyways? And how about the person or business handing out the cards? The real waste isn't the paper or the time it took to make them. It's the person who could care less about you. It's the person shoving their card or even two in your face, asking if you could refer some of your friends. Are you kidding me? And there's a wonder why cards get tossed? Why not take time to get to know someone before you give them a card? Why not take the time and effort to make your card original so people have a reason to keep it? Why not stand out just to stand out? Show someone you care. Ask them questions and listen instead of talking at the person. I hope we're getting the point here. I'm not talking about business, and I'm certainly not talking about business cards. I'm talking about being a human being, giving someone the time of day, saying something encouraging and positive. We leave an impression each and every time we meet someone, greet someone, or spend time with someone. We have a choice. We can leave a lasting impression that's positive or negative. People are going to remember you. They'll remember if you gave them the time of day. They'll remember if you greeted them with a smile or a handshake. And they'll remember if you brushed them off. So why be like everyone else? Why not take the time to be original, stand out, and actually show you care? Put some time into your card. I promise it'll be remembered. In which way will be up to you.
Exploring mind and body with True Form's Drew Taddia would not be possible without the help from the following sponsors: AG Foods in Didsbury, CLC Fitness Center, Health Street in the Cornerstone Shopping Center Olds, and Shoppers Drug Mart, working together to help build a healthier tomorrow. For more information on True Form Life, Drew Taddia, or how to become a sponsor of Exploring Mind and Body, visit TrueFormLife.com.
When is it that we lose our imagination? When is pretending not cool anymore? When do we think it's not okay to laugh or joke? When did the world get so serious for each individual? These are serious questions I often wonder. What happened in our youth when there was a dramatic shift that caused us to forget about cartoons and Lego? Now we sit in big offices, stressed out and overweight, wishing the kids would stop making so much noise when we get home. What happened? What filled the gap between yelling at the guy who cut you off and not being able to sleep on Christmas Eve over sheer excitement? Remember when Never Never Land was a place so real you knew one day you'd visit? Maybe you'd never come back like one of the Lost Boys. And how about when you dressed up like your favorite superhero, planning to save the world? Which one of us dreamed of being a criminal lawyer? And who dreamed of designing a pipeline that will suck oil out of the earth? Once a week I hang out with some kids, which is something I look forward to. We play all kinds of games like hide and seek and freeze tag. We get to be the fastest race car driver ever, the strongest lion in the jungle. We get to be anywhere we want to be in that moment. And that's what I love about it. I go to the same place day after day, same drive, same location, and see the same people every single time. But every single time it's different. There's a new game, a new animal, a new adventure. These are things we forget about when we grow up. We forget about how magical it was to be Cinderella, or how proud we were when we saved the day. For that instant, as long as I'm around these kids, nothing else matters. Stress is relieved. Troubles go away. Problems seem minimal, if at all. And the biggest issue that arises is what game we'll play next or what game we choose. And that's it. Wouldn't life be simple if we could shut our minds off just for a moment to pretend, to make believe, to not take everything so seriously? What if we took a few moments out of the day and remembered what it was like when we were kids? What if we actually played a game that didn't matter if we won or lost, only that we played? What if there was no winner, there was no ending, and there was no real purpose? We did it just to do it. Think life would be so serious? Think we'd always be so stressed out that we can hardly function? I tell the kids I'm from the moon. I was messing around one day and told a kid and looked in his eyes that spoke 1,000 words. I saw excitement, belief, and adventure. I saw something I'd likely never see in an adult's eyes. So now, that's where I'm from. A plane goes by, that's my rocket ship. They're coming to pick me up soon. My keys fall out of my pocket. Those are my rocket ship keys. Where's my rocket ship? Well, that's a secret. If I told them, then everyone would know. Oh, what fun. I love it. I understand most people listening to this couldn't imagine how much fun pretending is. I can't really explain it. Maybe I'm not like most people though. I like remembering what it was like to be a kid. No troubles in the world. No responsibilities. No anything but toys and fun. And well, listening to parents, but what kid does that anyways? It's hard to imagine what kind of impact you have on a child that you don't see very often. Recently, one of the kids presented me with his very own rocket-shaped gift just for me. It was made out of a cup, and it had wings and stickers and a point on the top. It was fantastic in all actuality. The imagination alone that took to make this rocket ship is astounding. You can see a picture of this rocket ship on my blog on trueformlife.com. I keep it right at my desk to remind me of how positive imagination and pretending can be. The cup turned into a rocket ship with colors and stickers represents something playful and fun in a serious world. Ironic that it sits on my very serious office desk with all my files, computer, paperwork, and pens, but I'm going to keep it there. I don't know for how long, but it's a good reminder that things don't have to be so serious. Everything in this life can be lightened with one glance at a single coffee cup turned into a rocket ship. It doesn't take long for me to see myself in that rocket ship, taking me towards the moon, to where I actually live. I go there anytime I want, and I can come back just as easily. And if you took just a moment to imagine, believe, and pretend, in an instance you can be, go, or have anything you want.
True Form Life.
I had an interesting talk with a younger adult, let's say, that I train, whom we're going to call Joe. I believe I took a different approach than most older adults do, let's say. Although Joe is quiet, he answers if you ask a direct question. And although he doesn't say much, he's quite bright if you let him talk by asking the right questions. I believe most older adults talk at our youth. They tell them how it used to be. They tell them how they want it to be. They tell them why rock and roll is better and why they should cut their hair. In short, adults tell children what to do. And if you could remember a brief second of your childhood, you'd remember the last thing you wanted was to be told what to do. So much so that as children, we do the exact opposite. So much so that as adults, we still do the opposite of what our parents used to tell us. I wanted to know what Joe thought of the program. I talked long enough and usually got a one-word answer in response, which is fine and perfectly acceptable coming from the way I see things, being that most adults don't want answers. They don't want to hear what a kid has to say. They want to tell them what to do, and they want the child to do it, period. So why would someone in Joe's position answer with anything but one word? If you don't get the answer or response you're looking for, you're not asking the right questions. It's the same circumstance when you don't get the results you're looking for. Stop doing the same thing. Change your approach if you want a different outcome. So I asked clear questions. If I got a short answer, I asked the question in a different way. I asked, what's healthy to you? How do you see yourself getting better? These are questions that can't be answered in one word. Or if someone you're dealing with has advanced skills at answering with one word, then raise the bar and increase your questioning skills. I gave multiple choice questions, and then I asked why they thought their answer was correct. And if the answer wasn't what I was looking for, I didn't tell them they were wrong. We talked about how a different approach might be more beneficial. What I found was that I was dealing with a very bright individual, someone that knew and responded to exactly what I was talking about. And when I received an answer that wasn't exactly what I was looking for, we talked together about how we could make a small adjustment or what they thought could make a bigger difference in their progress. As leaders, bosses, parents, or authoritative figures, we spend far too much time telling and not listening. How many great leaders didn't have listening skills? How about Gandhi, Kennedy, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr.? The list goes on. Would any of them be who they were if all they did was talk and never listened? Why, if you type into any search engine, public speaking, do 100 websites pop up and so few about listening? Why don't we practice listening skills in leadership or teaching?